I just had my first week of emotional wellness. So what exactly does that mean, emotional wellness? From what I have managed to discern over the past week, emotional wellness will be the process of exploring our relationship with the primary emotions and how comfortable we are actually feeling and expressing each of those emotions. The primary emotions that we were taught are love, fear, anger, sadness, pain, and calm. 6 of them. The goal this semester will be to embrace all of these emotions as well as be able to accurately identify them and then express them at an appropriate time in the appropriate place among the appropriate company. This also means being able to control these emotions in case you are in a situation in which it is not safe to emote or perhaps not emote to a full extent. But of course, those emotions that you do control must then later be released within the appropriate time, space, and company parameters, or else they will stay pent up inside of you and then come and rear their ugly heads later in life at opportune moments when you no longer understand where these surges of energy are coming from. So then they end up being misplaced or misunderstood, and they could end up causing you or those around you a lot of physical, mental, or emotional pain and suffering. Sounds simple, right? No, it does not sound simple. It sounds really complicated, and that's because it is. Nonetheless, these are the concepts I will be working with over the next 5 weeks and probably the rest of my life. This week, however, we just scratched the surface and looked at what exactly emotions are. So officially, emotions are a complex state of feeling that result in the physical and psychological changes that influence thought and behavior. So basically, an emotion is something that happens in our bodies at a cellular level in response to something that is happening in our surrounding environment. The body then sends this information to the brain, and the brain gets to decide how it would like to react or respond to the information that it has just received from the body. This all happens so quickly, however, that it is often not a conscious process. The main point that I would like you to take away, though, is that we all have emotions. Joy, anger, sadness, fear, they are all biologically programmed into us from birth. They're like reflexes. If you tap my knee, my leg will fly up. If something is threatening me in my environment, fear will rise up. It just will. Emotions are not a choice. They are actually built into humans for survival purposes. They are there to keep us safe and let our brains know if there is an opportunity or a danger in the surrounding environment that require us to respond in some way. So to say, I don't get sad or I never feel anger is actually incredibly inaccurate, because to not be able to get sad or angry would in fact be a biological defect. The tricky part comes when our brain gets involved. So let's say it gets the message of sadness from our bodies, but based on the information that our brain has collected over our lifetime from society or our personal experiences, it may determine that sadness is not safe to express. So instead it will ignore it or minimize it or just turn it into anger. So even though we all have the emotion sadness in our bodies that will inevitably be triggered, our brain may not choose to emote or feel the sadness as sadness. And if our brain does that enough times, we eventually stop recognizing sadness as sadness, and then we just think we don't get sad. Clear as mud. So in emotional wellness, we will be getting reacquainted with our primary emotions. We're going to go into our bodies to recognize how an emotion manifests and then retrain our brain to express that emotion appropriately, as opposed to just reacting based on all of the junk that we've got stored up in our psyche after years and years of conditioning from our friends, family, and society at large. Wish me luck. That is all I have for you today for a little lesson with a touch of insight. Emotions! They are not good or bad. They are just reflexes that are in the body that are there to communicate with your brain about what is going on around you. So don't hate on them, just get acquainted with them. I will see you in 2 weeks. I am on vacation at my mom's house. That's where I am right now, and I will not be back for a little bit. But when I do come back, I'm sure it will be very emotionally juicy. So tune in.